To global geopolitics, Turkey has ended rescue efforts in all provinces except the two hardest hit by last week's massive quake that killed tens of thousands of people. The earthquake killed more than 46,000 people, and more than 84,000 buildings have either been severely damaged or collapsed. It also left more than 1 million people homeless, along with an economic cost expected to run into billions of dollars.
And the International Energy Agency Executive Director said that the biggest uncertainty facing global energy markets is the extent to which China rebounds from its extended closure. He also said that the oil markets are balanced. He also said that the strength of the China rebound will decide oil and gas market dynamics.
Well, and on to more natural disasters. The death toll from Cyclone Gabrielle in New Zealand climbed to 11 as thousands of people remain missing a week after the storm struck the New Zealand's North Island. The Prime Minister of New Zealand has called Gabrielle New Zealand's biggest natural disaster this century. The New Zealand government expects the cost from the cyclone to be in the multi-billions.
And North Korea fired 2 more ballistic missiles off its east coast. The launches come just 2 days after North Korea fired an intercontinental ballistic missile into the sea off Japan's west coast. This prompted the United States to hold joint air exercises with South Korea and separately with Japan.
Well, and meanwhile, Twitter has announced that it will only allow paid subscribers to use text messages as a two-factor authentication method to secure their accounts. As per a statement issued by Twitter, starting 20th of March 2023, only Twitter Blue subscribers will be able to use text messages as their two-factor authentication method. Let's go across to my colleague, Sumita Karir, who has more details on this particular piece.
This news comes just yesterday when Twitter India shut down 2 offices in Delhi, NCR, and Mumbai, which is the financial capital of India, and they only have the Bangalore office open as of now. And now this news coming in again that only paid subscribers will be able to use text messages as a two-factor authentication method to secure their accounts. This, of course, has been tweeted by Twitter support officially, and they've also written a blog post. So they have written that after March 20th, only Twitter Blue subscribers will be able to use text messages as a two-factor authentication method. So basically, one of the ways to monetize was Twitter Blue, and now the two-factor authentication is also chargeable for users. Now, two-factor authentication, what is it? That's meant to make accounts more secure. It requires an account holder to use a second authentication method in addition to a password. And of course, there are multiple ways to sort of authenticate an account via text message, authentication app, and a security key. Now, the company, Twitter, of course, says that it is bringing this measure in because there are too many bad actors. And in a blog post also, they have mentioned the same thing. Now, let's understand why this is happening. This, of course, is a cost-cutting measure. This is not really just a cost-cutting measure, but they also want to increase the revenues. They want to make Twitter financially stable by late 2023 is what Elon Musk has, repeatedly claimed. Last year, they slashed 90% of its workforce in India, and of course, over 70% of its employees were fired last year. And of course, very recently, according to a report by Pathmatics, over half of Twitter's top 1,000 advertisers in September 2022 were no longer spending on the platform. And we, of course, know that Twitter's main revenue model has been advertising based. They laid off all key executives of the company last year as well. Joel Roth, who was the company's trust safety chief, who was tweeting about content moderation policies and everything, he was sacked. Then Vijaya Gadde, who was the legal chief, she was sacked. And we know about all of these, key executives who were sacked last year, leading to a trust deficit within the advertising community.